Hello, my name is Leva Gallegos, and this is my autoethnography. The topic that I will be brushing up on and relating to myself is language. So, if it's one thing that I've learned over the course of the semester, is how important language is in culture, especially in the Latino culture. Um, I feel language really just allows Latinos to be tied to their roots, and it's another way for just Latino individuals to communicate with one another, and it's also just another cultural value that's passed down from generation to generation. I also understand that language, despite it being an empowering tool because it's a way of expression, I also understood that it is a way to oppress Latinos. So, language is very, very important, especially to me, like growing up. So, I actually don't speak Spanish, I'm not a Spanish speaker. Um, the early childhood years of mine, I was actually raised in California. And from what I was told from my parents is that if you were a Spanish speaking Latino, you were automatically negatively stigmatized and you were labeled as a wetback or as an undocumented immigrant. And because my parents never wanted us to suffer from that racism and discrimination out there, they didn't teach me and my siblings to speak Spanish. But when we moved back to El Paso, it's actually predominantly Hispanic. It became a struggle. Um, we were still negatively labeled because it's almost like we were perceived as being too good for our own culture. And so I know a lot of the times my family and even um, my neighborhood labels me as a coconut, and it's really just being brown on the outside, looking with the Hispanic features, but just really being white on the inside, meaning that I'm very Americanized. Um, so I know that either way, whether I was in a predominantly Latino community, I was still stigmatized for not speaking the language. Yet when I was in a predominantly Americanized community, I was also stigmatized if I even spoke the language. So, I mean, I just think language really just ties into that ethnic identity as well. I mean, it just makes Latinos feel like, well, where do I belong necessarily? I mean, I have the features of a Latino, but yet I'm discriminated against still because I'm still Americanized. So, I mean, I know I've struggled with that a, a good chunk of my life, and I know at times I still do. Um, and even now, now that I'm older, I still get negatively labeled for not even trying or attempting to learn the language. I just think it's a little harder for me now that I'm older, and it's not as easy as it once was to pick up on things. But if it's one thing I really did struggle with and really connect with in this class was just the power of language to for a Latino to express and still yet to be oppressed from it. Um, and just another topic I wanted to brush on is just the Americanization of Latinos. Just that melting pot that America really emphasizes. I mean, compared to my cousins and compared to friends, I didn't realize how Americanized I really was. Um, and, you never realize what you're truly missing, but hearing the traditions that others still keep alive and just the holidays and traditions that they still practice, it almost makes you think like, well, where do my roots really come from? And it just ties back to that ethnic identity, that mestiza consciousness, because I don't know, I just feel as if there's really more to my family than I actually have been taught and that I've known. And so I just really admire this course because it just really opened my eyes to a lot of the things that I've missed out on what Latinos stand for, on what my family stands for, and just my family history. And I really appreciate this course. But if it's one thing that just really has always stuck out to me in this course was just the language and the ethnic identity. Thank you.